Well, good morning. Trucker Todd here, and time for the final video of the year. That's right, it's December 31st, and we all know what Monday's video is probably going to be about. I'm going to do my 2021 income review. I'm going to tell you what I grossed at Dart Transit and what I netted in Dart Transit, both for the month of December and for the whole year of 2021. Why drag my feet? Why not release that video today? Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I'm delivering a load in Dallas at this time while you're watching this video. And with it being the 31st, that income will also be included in the 2021 year, as it is a part of the 2021 year. And so I want to give you the most accurate information that I can before I release that video. Now, with it being the last day of the year, I normally like to talk about what I did at Christmas, or talk about the year in general, how it went, how I see the new year coming. I've even did predictions for the next year in the world of trucking, and I may do that maybe in the first or second week of January as I get time. But frankly, folks, we got a lot of stuff to discuss. And so we're going to dive into that. I think I'm going to have a big announcement regarding Dart lease purchase next week. And I'm kind of under a gag order right now. As soon as I can share that with you guys, I will. But a lot's happened since Christmas. For one, John Madden died. And if you're any kind of a football fan, or even if you love the video game, he's somebody that will be missed. He retired a few years ago, and commentary on football hadn't been the same since he's left. There's still some great commentators, and we could argue about which ones are the best or which ones are the worst, but that's one thing we could be talking about. Another thing we could be talking about is, as I said, what I see coming in the new year, things like that. Or I could just kind of wrap up the year with this video. But what happened is, and what this video is going to be about, it's going to be a little long, and I really hope you guys will watch it. I know you guys will tune out for part of it, but we have a Dart driver who's also a YouTuber. His channel is slightly larger than mine. He has about 200 more subscribers than me. He is a subscriber of this channel, so he will see this video, that his truck broke down. And while he was in a hotel, he decided to take that opportunity to take some cheap shots at me. Now, I'm sure he's going to deny it and say, "Oh no, Trucker Todd, it wasn't about you." But I know it was. The other driver he was talking about knows it was. And so I felt like I needed to address it. At first I said, no, I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm not going to address these issues. But then he made a second video where he attacked me again. And so with two attack videos, I need to at least issue a response. Now, as I said, his channel is slightly larger than mine. He has about 200 more subscribers than me. I'm adding about 4 subscribers a day. So in a little over 2 months, I'm going to pass him in subscriber base. Also, my viewership is anywhere from 3 to 10 times as much as his per video. So a lot more people are watching me than they're watching him, even though he has a larger subscriber base. But that has nothing to do with today's subject. Sometimes when he's had his channel about 5 years. I've been actively doing mine a little over 2 years. I've said before in other videos that over time you run out of ideas, you run out of things to talk about. And some guys, in order to get excitement in their channel again, will pick a fight with another YouTuber. I've told you before, I've had YouTubers call me and they're like, "I don't understand, Trucker Todd. I do highly published or edited videos. I put graphics on the screen, everything. My videos are a lot more polished than yours. Why are your videos outperforming mine so bad?" One guy got mad at me. He's like, "There's no way you could be making what you say you're making. It's just not possible, Trucker Todd." And so I said, "Well, how many settlements do you want?" And he wanted a lot, like 3 or 4 months worth of settlements. I said, fine, I sent it to him. He's like, Trucker Todd, I'm looking at the numbers and I still don't see it. And I said, you know, when I show you the proof and you don't believe me, I don't know what else I can do for you. You're going to refuse to believe the truth even when it's right in front of you. And so we're going to talk about this driver, but I'm not going to give his name because honestly, if he's going to take pot shots at me, I'm not going to promote his channel so that more people can see the garbage he's putting out. Instead, I'm going to give a dignified response to the concerns and questions that he raised. And this video is going to go a little over 15 minutes. It's going to be necessary to address everything because he attacks my work history and everything. And I feel like that I need to give you guys, that I owe you guys an adequate response. And I'm not going to sling mud or nothing like that. I'm just going to tell you the facts as they are. All right, folks, here's the music and then we'll jump right in. But before we do, why not hit that subscribe button, then click that bell and select all so you'll receive the videos next week when I show my income and when I make that big major announcement for Dart. Also, share this video on your social media platforms and look down in the description below for a lot of great information, including a link where you can apply at Dart Transit and also other ways you can help the channel out. All right, folks, here we go. Here's the music.
And this is why I do this, why I'm out here, why I keep that hammer down, flying by these road signs with home on my mind, with these wheels turning round, for my family and for my kids, for this life I wanna live. And this is why I do this.
And we're back. So a lot of guys ask, why is this channel so successful? And I think that it's because I don't do a lot of flash and bang. I get on here, I sit in front of the camera, and I tell you the truth. Now, the thing about the truth is, sometimes it's going to be what you don't want to hear. Sometimes it's going to be just the truth. I mean, I don't believe in a my truth thing like the world tells you today. There's facts and there's fiction. And that's why I show my income on here. Look, there's YouTubers on here. We've got another guy at Dart. He says he regularly makes $10,000 a month gross. I don't believe that. Is it possible he's made $10,000 in a week once or twice here and there? Sure. But to think he does it week after week, month after month, I just don't believe it. $10,000 a week gross for a year would be over $500,000. I feel pretty comfortable saying there's not a driver at Dart that's grossing $500,000 a year. I could be wrong. If I am, show me the video or show me the report that says that. Show me the settlements that say that. I want to see it. That's why in the Monday video, I'll actually show you the reports. I got nothing to hide. Hey, I say in every one of my income videos I do, you might be making more than me. There's definitely drivers here at Dart that gross more than I do. I don't know about take home. Take home's a different battle. But there's definitely guys here that gross more than me. There's definitely guys here that gross less than me. And so I just do it as so you can kind of set it as a barometer for yourself. Hey, if I'm not making what Trucker Todd's making, maybe I could tweak a few things and get there. Or if I get to what Trucker Todd's making, I know I'm doing pretty good. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing. All right. So I think the truth is the number one reason that I do so well on here. Now, that's going to mean periodically from time to time, because there's no perfect trucking company, that something negative is going to be said about Dart. If I say something negative, that does not mean I don't like Dart. That doesn't mean they're not a great company. It means they screwed up. By the same token, when I screw up, I'll come on here and tell you I screwed up. It's the truth. It doesn't change based on situation. This guy that I'm referring to is very condescending in his videos, and so a lot of guys say I just can't watch him. He's condescending. I feel like he's talking down to me. especially when he talks about finances. And so that's one of the criticisms I get for him. He makes a comment about me job hopping. Well, I want to talk about just my history at Dart. I originally started with Dart in 2008. I worked here about 10 months and I got laid off. There was a recession and I lived 350 miles outside of their hiring area in Lubbock, Texas. They broke my lease. They said, Trucker Todd, at this point in time, with freight like it is, we don't feel like we can get you home on a regular basis, and so we're going to part ways. Sorry, my camera overheated. So at that point, there was a lot going on in my personal life. I ended up moving to East Texas to my parents' place. I got a job at Pilgrim's Pride, and I worked there for 13 months, picking up chickens at the farms and bringing them to the plant for processing. I always knew I wanted to go back to Dart. I've never failed at Dart. That's one thing we need to get on the record. Now, I've said before, I left money on the table. I could have done a lot better back then if I'd have known then what I know now. But with experience, you learn. And so after 13 months at Pilgrim Pride, I stayed there, I got my vacation, and I called Dart back. I said, hey, I live in the hiring area. Can I come back? They said, we'd love to have you back. So I went back to Dart after 13 months. I worked there 4.5 years, non-stop 4.5 years. At that point, my grandkids were getting older and they were calling me and they were wanting to see me. And I was wanting to be around them. I was missing them. I was living in East Texas. They're in West Texas over by Lubbock in a small town. I wasn't getting to see them as much as I wanted to. Also, my uncle and his family are out there. I wasn't getting to see them as much as I wanted to. And so I made the decision after 4.5 years to leave Dart, and I went back into car sales. Which is the other thing I do when I'm not selling or when I'm not driving trucks. So I went back to car sales and left trucking. Now I say left trucking. When I wasn't selling cars, I also worked for a truck lot there, and I would fly out and pick up trucks and bring them back to Lubbock. So I was still driving trucks at the same time while I was selling cars. My son got a divorce. Situations changed again with the grandkids, and so here I am back at Dart. So at no time did I leave Dart when this guy says, oh, why is he changing companies all the time? It's been personal problems. It hasn't been success problems. I've never blamed Dart. I've never said, oh, well, the reason I left was they screwed me over. They ripped me off. Nothing like that. Now, what created this feud between me and this driver is we were both trying to help a new driver that was struggling a little bit. And I always say, you know, I don't mind helping anybody, but the thing we got to avoid is having too many cooks in the kitchen. I recommend watching several YouTubers, but when it comes time to let one of them help you, let one of them help you. Either him or me or somebody else that you trust. And so basically what was happening is this guy was taking credit for something I did. And now that driver's fine. In this video that this guy does, he makes it sound like the driver's just so far in the hole that he's gonna quit. I think the guy was either 500 or 1,000 in the hole. He's doing fine now. He's making money. He's optimistic about the future. But this other YouTuber, his idea was he was gonna get him a new fleet manager. And he suggested a lady that used to be my fleet manager, and she's a great fleet manager, but she only does company drivers now. And this other YouTuber didn't know that because he's not plugged in. He's riding my coattails and the coattails of others and trying to look like a big shot. It's not about being a big shot, it's about helping people. And so I think you know, I'm not saying he couldn't be more, but I'm saying that he's got a lot of learning to do to get there. Now, he loves to get on his videos and talk about rates and load boards and things like that. And to the best of my knowledge, I know he doesn't do it here at Dart. He's never done rates or load boards, but yet he's an expert on it. He can tell you what loads you should take, where you should go, when you should go. And he's never done a load board. He worked in the oil field for a long time, and his biggest success here at Dart Transit is Walmart pop-up, which there's still a couple of those left, but from what I'm understanding, most of them in by January 10th. So I don't know how he became such an expert on this. Now, he loves to talk about he's either going to buy a ranch in East Texas or West Texas coming up real soon, but and he's going to pay cash for it. He's not going to finance none of it. And maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But in Lubbock, they've got a trailer park that calls it a ranch, and they'll sell you a brand new trailer for $5,000. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but or 5,000 down, I guess I should say. I want to be clear. But so there's nothing wrong with living in a trailer. That's not where this is going. It's just the point I'm trying to make is what is a ranch is different to different people. And if he's able to pay cash for one, I don't know, maybe he got some life insurance or money or something. More power to him. I hope he can do that. He also makes a big deal about paying his truck off early. He drops a 2017, and it's an early 2017. The last three of his truck number is 003. So he got the third 2017 Kenworth that Dart got that year. In all fairness, the truck was probably built in 2016. But you know they do truck year by in-service date. So it's manufactured in 2016, let's say. This is 2022, or it will be tomorrow. You're talking about a truck that's what, 6 years old? Maybe 5 active years. The truck's going to pay off later this year anyway. Now, I'm not knocking the guy. If he can pay it off early, then more power to him. If he can pay it off at all, that's quite an accomplishment, and he should be proud of it. But it's misleading to make it sound like you're paying it off years early when you're paying it off months early. He also broke down recently, and that's when he had the time in the hotel to take a couple of pot shots at me. And he suggests that PACCAR has all these problems and that there should be a class action lawsuit against PACCAR. Now, mind you, his truck has 580-something thousand miles on it. He just admitted he hadn't had any breakdowns for 2.5 years. And so, I'm not sure why he would have a class action lawsuit. In order for a manufacturer, and I'm not a lawyer, check with your lawyer, but you have to show negligence. A truck with almost 600,000 miles breaking down is not negligence, it's normal wear and tear in my opinion. Again, consult a lawyer about this. I am not a lawyer. Surprise, surprise. But it's just boneheaded to say some of the things he says and to encourage people to try to start a class action lawsuit. He also says, oh, I was able to pay for that $7,500 repair because my warranty didn't cover it. Okay, let's think about that. You hadn't broke down in 2.5 years. You're probably putting on that old of a truck 8 or 9 cents a mile in maintenance. In less than a year, you should have had the money to fix the $7,500 repair. So the fact that you had $7,500 in your maintenance account is not an accomplishment. It's just what one would expect. It's not a big deal. Now, he also likes to point out, he thinks I've been here 6 months, and he'll be surprised if I'm here in 6 months. Well, the same could be said for any of us. It's trucking, it's a business. Businesses open and close all the time. He also says that guys that have $5,000 to $10,000 saved up never have anything bad happen to them. Folks, it's a business. Any of us could fail. We are all one breakdown away from failing. And why do I say that? Why do I mean that? Folks, I've been to dealerships where they've got trucks that have been sitting out back for 3 months. I don't care how much this guy has in the bank. If his truck breaks down for 3 months, he's out. I'm out. You're out. Very, very, very few people, I'd say less than 1% of all truck drivers could afford to be down for 3 months. Maybe you can, and if you can, again, kudos to you. But yes, I have no intentions of quitting Dart. You guys may not believe me, and that's fine. But the reason I recommend this company is I honestly believe they're a good company. And some of you that have had issues and we've worked with them through the company and got them solved, some of you are starting to say, yeah, I see what you mean, Trucker Todd. They are a great company. There's good people there. Are they going to frustrate you? Absolutely. Are they going to move slower than you think they should? Absolutely. Does that make them a bad company? No, that makes them human. Now, have I ever done a negative video about Dart Transit? Absolutely. Because they're not perfect. They're going to make mistakes. But because this guy brought up me making negative videos about my company, I went back and looked. I haven't made a negative video about Dart in over 6 months. And since then, all those issues have been resolved. And in multiple videos, at least 6 videos, I've gone back and talked about what a great company they are and how we resolved everything. So, I hope that answers the question about job hops. Look, the average driver stays at a company 12 months. Almost all of my jobs I've lasted more than 12 months. So I'm an above average driver when it comes to job hopping. Like I said, my last time at Dart, I was here 4.5 years. Time before that, I was laid off. I've already been here over a year this time around, almost a year and a half. And my company before this, I was at for over a year. So I'm not a guy that changes jobs every 2-3 weeks. It'd be great if I did for the channel, because then you can do an orientation video on a new company. You can show the new truck. It gives you a lot of material. But I'm happy here at Dart, and I have no plans of leaving. So he talks about preparation, and I covered this a little earlier. He says that, you know, if you have 5,000 to 10,000 saved up, that you're prepared if anything happens, and that you know, nothing bad ever happens to those people. Well, that's just false. It's baloney. It does help. It is nice to have that patent. And when people ask me how much money do you need to start at Dart Transit, my answer is always, the more you have, the better off you are. The more the merrier. Can you start with no money and make it? Yes, but it's going to be difficult. And your first 2 weeks when you don't have a truck payment, you need to be running your tail off and saving every penny you can. Because at some point in time, that truck's going to break down. If something happens early on and you break down, though, it could sink your battleship. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, he takes a pot shot at me because I don't recommend LLCs or sole proprietors or S corporations or anything like that. He says with my experience that I should be doing that. Well, as previously covered in this video, I'm not a lawyer. And your situation's different than mine. I have approximately 4 different revenue streams, and so my taxes are pretty complicated. And what might be the best tax solution for me might not be for you. You might be perfectly fine being a sole proprietor. You might need an LLC. You might need an S corp. But as I said, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to recommend those things to you, because at that point you're messing with a person's life, with their legal status. I mean, a lot of things. And so I always recommend you guys talk to an accountant, a CPA, a tax attorney, something like that. Get professional advice. This is a big deal. You're talking about over $100,000, in some cases over $200,000. You need a professional looking at this. You don't need a YouTuber. And so if he wants to give you tax advice, great, good for him. I'm not going to do it, because I believe there's people better qualified to give you that information than me. And it's something I take a look at regularly. As I said, I haven't arrived. I don't have every single answer. I'm going to be making some changes in that department. And when I do, I'll share those with you and tell you why I made the decisions I made. But I'm never going to tell you how you should file your taxes, when you should file your taxes. things like that. That's between you and the IRS and you and your tax service or your tax attorney. Please consult with them. Now, he says that when I broke down, I badmouthed the company. I've spent most of the day looking. I haven't found that video. There's a couple of times I said, hey, things are going to get tight. I'm going to have to save. I'm going to have to be careful with money. Hopefully they'll get it fixed soon. I never once that I could find tied it to Dart and said, hey, this is Dart's fault. If you can find a video where I did that, please let me know. I'd love to watch it. As a matter of fact, I went on there and said, hey, Dart's great. Now, there was a second when I didn't have all the facts where I said, you know, Dart authorized a def level sensor without my knowledge. Well, they ended up not doing that, so that was not even true. The sensor was not available, and they told them don't worry about changing it. It did end up going out later, but honestly, in the same position, even if they had asked me, I agree with the decisions that they made at that time. I've often said, I can show you the videos where I thought the breakdown road ready department at Dart was one of the strongest departments in the company. I've also said that the VP of maintenance here at Dart Transit is a great guy, very knowledgeable. I've talked to him on the phone numerous times, and so I really like the breakdown department. There's a guy that works nights on the breakdown departments. At most companies, that's the weakest link, is the night staff. The guy that works in breakdown at Dart at night, I'm not going to say his name on here, but he's a great guy. Always friendly, always helpful, always knowledgeable. I actually called in on him and told him, I said, hey, this guy's great. Y'all need to go back and listen to some of his phone calls. This is how everybody should be. He should be training. He is great. And so I don't have any issues with the breakdown department, and I don't blame Dart for my breakdowns. That's something that's weird. You know, people will get on here they'll get on the internet and they'll say, my company screwed me because they sold me a truck that broke down. They never say the manufacturer screwed me, and I've always found that weird. Your company doesn't build the truck. The manufacturer builds the truck. And there's guys that'll get on here and they'll say, the company fixed the truck just well enough it'd run a few miles and break. Think about that from the company's perspective. If that truck's not earning revenue, they're not earning revenue. They have absolutely nothing to gain by your truck breaking down. And you say, well, if it goes to their shop, they make money that way. Yeah, maybe not. If you don't have the money in your maintenance account, they have to float you that money and hope you pay it back. And still, they would much rather be earning the revenue and satisfying their customers than they would be trying to get money out of you for a breakdown. So that's a little far-fetched. I realize that it's kind of like yelling at a family member or a loved one. They're closest, and sometimes it's easier to vent to them. But, you know, I don't care what trucking company you work for. They probably didn't build the truck you're driving. At best, they spec'd it, and even then, it was probably loosely spec'd. You know, the manufacturer said, we've got 100 of these over here, do you want them? And that's probably how it went in a lot of cases. So I think sometimes the companies take a bad rap for things that aren't their fault. And the final thing I wanted to touch on was negative videos, and I think I've really said enough about that. Folks, I don't care what company you're at, you're going to have problems from time to time. And that's why when I do a negative video, I tell you their side of it. I wait until I've talked to them. I give them every opportunity to fix it. And if they do, you never hear about it, because I want to be fair. And people at Dart, higher ups at Dart, said they appreciated me because they felt like I was fair. They said they might not always agree with everything I said, but that they appreciated that I gave their perspective, their side of the story. And that's something I try to do. So the final thing I want to touch on is, a lot of you think I'm just doing this job for referral money. Folks, if you only knew. First of all, The money's nice when you get it, if you get it. But I'm much more concerned with the success of the guys that come to Dart. It's kind of like if I tell you, go see this movie, it's the best movie I've ever seen. And you go there and you go, this is a terrible movie, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. I feel like I caused you to waste time and money. And that's not something I want to do. I want to be totally honest with you. There's nothing better, including referral bonuses. There is absolutely nothing better than meeting one of you at a terminal and you guys thanking me, hey Trucker Todd, your video really helped me. I'm glad you told me about Dart. I love it here. Getting your emails. I've made a ton of friends that still call me, not with problems, but just to tell me they're having a great day. Or here lately, I've been getting a lot of messages from guys that they've had a great Christmas and they want to thank me because they would have never had this opportunity if they hadn't seen the Trucker Todd videos. So, these guys that are on here saying, oh, all Trucker Todd does is stab the company in the back, and all Trucker Todd does is negative this, negative that. It's funny, on the other end of the spectrum, I got people saying, I love your videos, they're positive, they're upbeat, and then I've got these guys over here that they just hate that things are going well. And so that's all I'm going to say on this today. We went way over the 15 minutes. Perhaps I could have broke this up into 2 parts, but I felt like this information needed to get out. I think I speak for all of us when I say I'm glad 2021 is now officially ending today, and I look forward to a great 2022, and I thank all of y'all for going with me on that journey. We'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.